Night Beat.
Hi there. This is Randy Stone. I cover the Night Beat for the Daily. Stories start in many different ways. This one began with a blaze of glory and ended with flames of mockery.
Night Beat, starring Hop McGuire as Randy Stone.
Every now and then in the newspaper game, you come across a story which, if printed on paper or celluloid, is dismissed airily by both book and movie critics in a single phrase. Any resemblance to real life is completely accidental. Such a story is the one concerning Miriam Daniels. One night a few weeks ago, I was in the city room pounding away at the typewriter when word came through that Miriam Daniels was dead. Shortly after, the chief phoned telling me to run a special article on the Sunday edition. I tackled the job with unusual interest, partially because I'd met Miriam Daniels on a couple of occasions, mainly because the story of her life began with intrigue and jealousy and ended with heartbreak and tragedy. At least, that's how it appeared to the world. But lately, I've been thinking things over, and the conclusion I've come to is pretty terrifying. Maybe you won't agree. Anyway, I'll let you judge for yourselves. But before I go into that, let me tell you the story of Miriam Daniels as the world knew it. 12 years ago, the vicinity of the cathedral in New York was a seething mass of people. They'd been lining up since 4 a.m. to witness an event due to take place at 4 p.m. The wedding of the year. Miriam Daniels, a hitherto unknown movie actress, or a bit player would be nearer the truth, was marrying Morton Schreiber, the movie magnate, sole owner of Atlas Films. I reckon it took every cop in New York to control the crowd, just as every camera from the Atlas studios was employed to cover the great event, and every member of the journalistic world was detailed to report on it. Yours truly was under orders to record his impressions from a third-floor window of Gerald's department store, opposite the cathedral. For company, I had 2 cameramen from the Atlas newsreel.
The ceremony should be over pretty soon. It's almost 4:30.
I'm not in the way of you fellas, am I?
No, you're okay. Hey, Charlie?
Yeah.
I'll follow the procession as it moves off. You cover the crowd straight below.
Yeah, okay, Bill.
Boy, oh boy, more people than the French Revolution. Just to witness a wedding.
And what a wedding. Fancy a guy like Schreiber marrying a Brooklyn doll.
What's that?
You heard me, mister. She's as cheap as they come.
What makes you say that?
Plenty of reasons. You know, there's one thing I'll never be... Uh-oh, here they come. Turn over, Charlie.
Okay.
The cameras turned, the crowd roared, the flashbulbs exploded, I made mental notes, and the cops did a wonderful job. 15 minutes later, there wasn't a soul in sight. The happy couple and their friends had moved on to the reception at the Waldorf Astoria. I helped the 2 cameramen pack up their gear, and when that was done, the senior of the 2, his name was Bill Freeman, and myself, had a drink at a nearby bar room.
You're on the newspaper racket, yet you don't know about Miriam Daniels.
Well, I've heard gossip, the same as everybody else in America.
Oh, it isn't gossip, Mr. Stahl.
The first name's Randy.
Oh, Randy. No, it isn't just gossip. That lady will stop at nothing to get what she wants.
Yeah? And what does she want?
Fame, fortune, glamour.
How did she break into movies in the first place?
Blackmail.
Huh?
Oh, so the story goes. See, she was a friend of Arnold Kingston. First met him at a party. Kingston's casting director for Atlas. Well, you remember that smuggling racket in Miami a while back?
Yeah.
Rumor has it that Kingston was involved in some way, and Daniels had the goods on him. Her price was a contract with Atlas. Well, Kingston put her on the payroll for 12 months. Actually cast her in a few small parts. I'll say this much. She wasn't bad in them either. But a star? I don't think so. I wouldn't dare to risk my money on her.
Well, Schreiber's prepared to risk his. Reckons he'll make her the biggest name in movies.
Quite a few dames in the Magic City have had their caps set for Schreiber. And for the same reason,
Hollywood's most eligible and most sought-after bachelor.
unique in that respect.
How's that?
Well, whereas most people in the film racket have lost count of the number of times they've been married, Schreiber has never been married at all, till today. And it had to be her. I give it about 6 months.
What makes you say that?
Well, it won't be long before Schreiber realizes that what his close friends have been telling him for months is true. She's a gold digger. She doesn't love Schreiber. She loves Miriam Daniels. I once made the mistake of uttering those very words within her hearing.
Yeah? What did she say?
Oh, nothing. Shortly after that, I was taken off studio work and transferred to the newsreel department.
Up till then, that was the only first-hand information I'd had on Miriam Daniels. It looked like the stories that got around weren't just the product of jealousy, intrigue, and idle gossip. They appeared to have some foundation. Anyway, the happy couple went off on a 4-week honeymoon. Destination, close secret. It might as well have been a state secret for all the information the press could lay its hands on. One day, about 3 weeks after the wedding, I was driving along a country road in Connecticut. The paper had sent me to report on a court case. There was a station wagon stopped on the road ahead. The driver appeared to be having engine trouble, so I pulled up to see if I could help. Having a little trouble? Can I help?
Oh, I don't know what's wrong with this confounded thing. Is that connection broken? I can't see properly.
If you'd take the dark glasses off, it might help.
Oh. Forgot I had them on. Hold them for me, will you?
Sure. Hey, you're Miriam Daniels.
That's right.
Well, I didn't think I'd ever have the pleasure.
Who are you?
My name's Stone.
You're not a reporter, are you?
Well, no. I'm just driving through on business.
Oh. Know anything about cars?
A little. I couldn't rectify the engine trouble, though, so I offered to drive her to a garage where she could get help.
How far did you say it was to this garage?
Well, according to the road map, 4 miles or thereabouts.
Oh. Are you married?
Uh-uh.
What line of business are you in?
I'm a writer.
A writer?
Yeah, articles and things.
Fiction?
Some of it. How's the honeymoon?
Oh, quiet and peaceful, thank heavens. I had fears of being constantly besieged by the press, but we managed to keep our whereabouts a secret.
By the way, you'd better put those glasses back on if you want to hide your identity from the garage people.
Oh, yeah, I suppose I'd better.
Is that right? You're going to star in The Valiant Woman for Atlas?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, how does it feel to be cast in the most coveted role of the year?
Let's not go into that, shall we? Tell me more about yourself. Where do you come from?
Was this the woman who'd blackmailed her way into movies? Who'd married for fame and wealth? This woman who was so anxious to avoid the press? Who preferred to talk about me rather than herself? We parted company at the garage, and I drove on my way, thinking how incredible it seemed that malicious gossip could be regarded as gospel truth by an entire nation. Morton Schreiber kept his word. He said he'd make her a big name in movies, and he did. Less than 2 years later, on the night of the world premiere of The Valiant Woman, I was working in the city room when one of our movie critics came bursting in.
Wow. Now I've seen everything.
Oh, don't tell me she's as bad as all that.
Who said anything about being bad? The film itself's murderous, but she is terrific.
What?
Terrific. They were still in the theater applauding her. I repeat, applauding her, not the film, 5 minutes after it had finished.
You don't say.
I do. She's my nomination for the Academy Award.
He was right. She won the award that year, and the next, and the next. Miriam Daniels, the only person to win 3 times in a row, or 3 times anyway, created screen history. She became one of the most celebrated women in the world, one of the most feted in America. And in the film business, one of the most envied and hated. As she went from one success to another, people still persisted that she'd only married Morton Schreiber to further her own ambitions. Well, a few years later, there were rumors of a separation. Miriam Daniels had arrived in town alone for the premiere of her latest film. After more trouble than it would take to see the president, I managed to inveigle my way into her apartment at the Waldorf.
Good afternoon, Mr. Stone.
Hello, Miss Daniels. Remember me?
I'm afraid I don't. According to my maid, you claim to be an old friend from Florida.
Oh, I'm sorry. That must have been a slip of the tongue on my part. It was Connecticut during your honeymoon. Remember?
I'm afraid not. Now, will you please go? My maid...
Oh, now, wait a minute. Now, what about the day your car broke down and I drove you to a garage for help? Remember now?
Oh. Oh, yes, I do. My apologies, but... Well, that was some time ago.
Well, I told you a lie that day. I said I wasn't a reporter, but I was, and I still am.
But I haven't time for a press interview now, and I don't...
Miss Daniels, if I'd revealed at that time where you were spending your honeymoon, the last week of it would have been a continual barrage of newspaper men. But I didn't. I kept your secret. Now, one good turn deserves another.
Sit down.
Thanks.
I can spare 2 minutes exactly. Now, what do you want to know?
Has Mr. Schreiber replaced you in the cast of Always Remembered?
No. It goes into production 4th of next month as originally planned.
I see.
Look, suppose we do away with the subtleties. You mean, is it a fact that I married Morton to further my own career? The answer is no. That's pure Hollywood scandal. Is it a fact that Morton wants me to retire from the screen against my wishes, and that it's caused a separation? The answer is ditto. Morton is joining me here this afternoon. He's flying over for tonight's premiere. Tomorrow, we're leaving for a 2-week vacation in the country. Now, does that cover everything you want to know?
I reckon it does.
Then you must excuse me. I have to change. I'm meeting Morton at the airport.
And she did meet him at the airport. They went to the premiere where they appeared to be on the best of terms. The film, incidentally, was another triumph for Miriam Daniels. The next morning, he drove off on a short vacation in the country, just like she said. It was during that vacation that a tragedy occurred. A tragedy which completely ruined Miriam Daniels and earned her a worldwide reputation as the Mad Widow.
You are listening to Night Beat. Before Randy Stone continues his story, here's your announcer. This is Night Beat. Randy Stone continues his story.
The only news I received concerning the Schreibers during the next few days was that their vacation, which was planned to cover 2 weeks, had been extended to a month. That gave the lie to any separation rumors, with the result that the gossip mongers changed their tune. One Friday, during the 2nd week of their vacation, I was about to enter the Daily building when I ran into Arch Messenger, our main movie critic.
Hi, Randy.
Oh, hi, Arch. What's new in the movies?
Morton Schreiber's not expected to live.
What?
Cable arrived about 5 minutes ago. He fell from the lookout point at Roma Valley.
He fell? How did it happen?
We haven't got the full details as yet. But from what I know of Miriam Daniels, it wouldn't surprise me if she'd pushed him.
Arch and myself were detailed to cover the Schreiber accident, and early next morning we drove up to Roma. Between the town and the Schreiber residence, we stopped off at the valley to look at the scene of the accident.
Can't understand why there isn't a fence along here.
Well, maybe the Roma Council isn't that far advanced. Anyway, now there's been an accident, they'll probably erect one.
Well, take a look down there. It's a miracle the guy lived. You'd think he'd been killed outright. I wonder if he did slip.
That's what happened according to the police report. And if it was blowing like this yesterday, a decent gust of wind could have done the job.
Yeah, so could Miss Daniels.
You're on the wrong track, Arch. Like a lot of other people. I've met the lady. She's not that kind at all. And he didn't want her to give up her career.
No?
Not according to what she told me herself. That was the day before they left on their vacation, only a few weeks ago. You know, you can't always take notice of rumors.
Yeah, I guess you're right, Randy. You can't always take notice of talk. Maybe I spoke out of turn. After all, it is a pretty terrible thing to say about anyone, isn't it?
Come on, we've seen all there is to see here. Let's go interview Miriam Daniels herself. The Schreiber Holiday House was a small Italian-style villa in spacious grounds back from the main highway. The door was opened by Miriam Daniels' personal maid.
I'm sorry, gentlemen. Mrs. Schreiber is at the hospital. My instructions are to admit no one, nor do I have authority to make any further statements to the press.
Well, you can tell us how it happened, surely.
I know nothing apart from what I've told the other reporters.
If you've told them, or what about telling us?
Yeah, in your own words, that's all we want.
Very well. Mr. and Mrs. Schreiber spent yesterday morning posing for the Atlas newsreel. Afterwards, they went for a walk, and the accident occurred.
Is it true that 3 specialists have arrived from New York?
Yes. Mr. Schreiber's too ill to be moved from the local hospital.
Now, what about
I'm sorry, gentlemen. I have no more to say. Good morning.
Well, that fixes that.
Why the heck should they be posing for newsreel shots?
Probably their final answer to the separation rumors. You know, the happy couple enjoyed a well-earned holiday. Come on, Arch. Let's try the hospital. Officially, the Schreiber accident was really an accident. Rumor had it otherwise, until Morton Schreiber himself was well enough to be interviewed. He told the police he stepped too close to the edge of the lookout and lost his balance. That settled the rumors for all time. Well, the accident left Schreiber permanently bedridden. Months later, he was taken from hospital back to his holiday villa. Miriam Daniels announced her retirement from the screen. Henceforth, she was devoting her life to the care of her husband. There must have been plenty of red faces in film and newspaper circles, to mention nothing of certain social circles. Miriam Daniels, hitherto fawned upon by people who detested her, had now won their genuine admiration. The following year, Morton Schreiber passed on. His funeral drew almost as large a crowd as his wedding. Miriam Daniels, heavily veiled, made her final public appearance. One day, not long afterwards, I entered the city room to find Arch Messenger staring at a sheet of notepaper in front of him.
Oh, what do you know about that, Randy?
What's wrong, Arch?
All the Miriam Daniels films have been withdrawn from circulation.
Oh, that's common knowledge. There hasn't been a picture of hers on the screen for months.
I know, but she's bought up all the copies herself. Well, that must have cost a packet.
Why would she do that?
Search me. Maybe she is nuts after all. Oh, guess what I heard this morning?
Huh?
Do you know what they call her up at Roma?
What?
The Mad Widow. She and that maid keep themselves locked up inside the house. She never sets foot outside the gates. Sometimes she is seen strolling or sitting in the garden. But she never goes anywhere, never sees anybody, and never wears anything but black.
Yeah?
She must have loved Schreiber very, very much. Seems like his death has affected her in the head. Fancy buying up all those films. Sounds crazy.
Are you sure you've got your facts right?
Well, I heard she was buying her own pictures, so I did some checking up. I got the answer right here from her lawyer, Saul Gresham.
Saul Gresham. Is he Miriam Daniels' lawyer?
Yeah, why, do you know him?
Yeah, I used to. I haven't seen him for years. We were at school together. Hey, this Daniels business sounds intriguing. Maybe I ought to call him up. Later that day, I found myself sitting opposite Saul Gresham in his office.
Don't ask me what it's all about, Randy. When Morton died, he told me to look after his wife's affairs, to see that she was well provided for, and to do anything she wanted. He idolized her, you know.
Do you mean to say she's bought up every print of every film she made from all over the world?
Well, I did on her behalf. It's quite a job, I can tell you.
And you just destroyed them?
Every foot.
She must be off her rocker.
I wouldn't know. I never see her. All communication is done by post. Still, it wouldn't surprise me if she were off her rocker, as you put it. Living with Morton would even have sent me slightly nuts. He was a strange man in many respects, Randy. Very secretive. Always regarded himself as a shrewd businessman. Boy, he hated being played for sucker.
Oh, don't we all?
You know, Randy, he once fired an employee who criticized one of the Atlas cartoons.
Morton the monkey?
Uh-huh. The monkey character was Morton's own idea. That's why he called it after himself. He made more fuss over those cartoons than any of his biggest features.
Yeah?
There's a mystery behind Morton Schreiber. But what it is will never be known till after his wife's death. And even then, I may not learn what it is.
How do you mean, a mystery?
Well, you see, Morton sent me one day to go up to Roma. He gave me a parcel to deposit in the National Bank, stipulating two things. It wasn't to be opened till after Miriam's death, and I was never to discuss it with her.
You mean she doesn't know about it?
Perhaps she does, perhaps she doesn't, I can't say. But I've an idea that parcel contains some great secret. Oh, by the way, Randy, that isn't for publication, if you don't mind. And if you're still around when the parcel's opened, I'll see to it that you're well rewarded for your silence in the meantime.
Sol Gresham set me thinking. Suppose all those rumors about Miriam Daniels had been true. Suppose Schreiber had wanted her to give up her career. But rather than lose the glamour and glory of it, she had pushed him over that precipice. Suppose on the day of the accident, one of those newsreel men had photographed them secretly as they walked around the lookout point. And the evidence recorded in black and white had been deposited in the National Bank. And proud Morton Schreiber, rather than let the world know she'd played him for a sucker, had chosen this way of getting even, and forced her under threat of exposure to live the life of a hermit and to destroy her past glories. Well, the more I thought about the whole idea, the more ridiculous it seemed. And pretty soon it passed clean out of my head. I'd almost forgotten the existence of the mad widow until a few weeks back. The news of her death came through. Well, I wrote the Sunday article in accordance with the chief's instructions. Every newspaper in the world carried the same story during that week. The story of Miriam Daniels, how she was despised and misjudged, how she finally won the love and sympathy of her former enemies. A few days later, I was walking through the city when I ran into Sol Gresham. Hello, Sol.
Hello, Randy. I read your story on Sunday about Miriam. It was a terrible tragedy. Alcoholic poisoning.
Yeah. I was up at Roma the other day, but the villa was all locked up. The maid had packed up and left.
She's gone abroad. Morton and Miriam both left her well provided for. Oh, by the way, remember that parcel I told you about?
In the National Bank. Yeah.
I'm on my way to collect it. Care to join me?
I accompanied Sol to the bank where he took possession of a small package. Then we had some coffee and went on to his office. When he opened that parcel, I nearly jumped out of my skin. It looked as though I was right about Schreiber's method of revenge. She had pushed him, and the act had been photographed. The parcel consisted of a film tin containing about 50 feet of film and an envelope.
To my good friend, Sol Gresham. Dear Sol, set fire to this, will you, and have a good laugh for me. Many thanks once again for everything, Morton. In brackets, the monkey.
Let's see what's on the film. We unrolled the film, examining every foot, but my expectations were thrown to the four winds. I'd been wrong. Sol stood gazing into the fireplace. He was equally as puzzled as I. What do you make of it, Sol?
I don't know, Randy. I just don't know. Well, I'd better set fire to this stuff. I don't get it at all. But at least I can carry out a dead man's wish. Say, do you carry matches, Randy? I don't smoke.
Oh, sure. Here you are.
Well, thanks. Morton sure was a strange man in many respects.
You know, I don't think I was so wrong after all about Schreiber's act of revenge. There's an old Arabian proverb which says, "A secret is your slave if you keep it, your master if you lose it." Miriam Daniels had planned to murder her husband, but by some strange miracle which saved his life, she ended up sharing that secret with her intended victim. And in return, he took away from her the only thing she lived for, the only thing she'd married him for. By pretending that the whole incident had been photographed by an Atlas newsreel camera and threatening her with certain exposure if she so much as set foot outside that house. Even when he was dead, he continued to rule her life from the grave. And it was all done by sheer bluff. Morton Schreiber had had the last laugh, all right. But was he mocking her or mocking himself? I wondered. because the film in that tin was a portion of an Atlas cartoon entitled Morton the Monkey Gets Married. Copy, boy.
Night Beat.
Night Beat, a dramatic series, stars Hart McGuire as Randy Stone. Others in the cast were Dinah Shearing, John Crane, Frank Waters, David Butler, Judy Griffiths, and Howard Craven. Listen next week, same time, same station, when again you will hear Randy Stone in another action-packed story of Night Beat.